Most of my roses are in bloom right now, so I thought we'd give a little tour. So we'll consider this the first rose tour of the year, for the first flush of roses anyway. This rose bed has been here for 3 years. All of the roses in this bed come from the ground every year. I'm in Zone 4 by Minneapolis. And I have some good companion plants in here you can see as well. So let's go through that right now. So this first rose here is called High Voltage. It is a climbing rose. It is yellow when it's in bloom. It's got about maybe a week before it's going to be flushed out. And you can see behind it is a nice delphinium, which is a great companion plant. And that one is called the President. It's been blooming maybe 7 to 10 days now. It's absolutely gorgeous. But this one is, again, High Voltage. It's a nice yellow climbing rose. Next to the High Voltage on the end are two climbing roses, both named Blaze. I actually bought two of them 1 year apart. And I usually go and I'll buy what's in bloom. I check the flowers before I buy them. And I had an empty space, so I bought an extra rose, and then found out I already had one, so I ended up with two. But I think it'll be a pretty grand display. I have some pruning to do because you can see I have some of them that are being unruly outside of the border. And what I have in here for companion plants all the way along the border are hostas, and I like hostas that have some points of interest. This one in particular has a nice white center, and this one is called Risky Business. And I put hostas in for foliage more so than I do for having the flowers, which I really don't care so much about the flowers. So again, this is a hosta Risky Business. This is a grandiflora rose, almost like a hybrid tea, and it is called Love. And it is really unique in the fact that the outside, if I can't pick it up on camera here, the outside of these flowers, the petals are white and the interior is red, and it's just very striking. And again, I don't know if my camera is going to pick it up or not. I'll try to do some additional B-roll for this so you can see it. And the scent is amazing. This is just a beautiful, beautiful rose. This one is called Love. And you will spot along my garden here, I have milkweed, and I brought the milkweed in as a pollinator to bring in extra bees and things. And some of them, the butterflies have been pretty busy. And on this one here, if it will focus, we got a nice little monarch caterpillar hidden down in there. So they're doing their job, bringing in some additional pollinators. And what I'll do at the end of season is I'll pull them out so it doesn't get overly weedy. And I might weed some of them out anyway. This rose, which is just starting to get some buds down in a lower canopy. This is a beautiful rose as well. I believe this is a grandiflora. This one is called Coral Cove from the Easy Elegance collection. And again, I've had this one for 3 years. It's a little small, but it will continue to grow throughout the season and flush out some beautiful flowers for me. This is a shrub rose called Captain Samuel. And you can see already how beautiful it looks. It reminds me of being a kid. I grew up in a really old house with a regular front porch, and we had nice rose bushes, old-fashioned roses on each side of the porch, and I remember being out there as a kid, so it reminds me of my childhood. And next to that I have some tall garden phlox. I'm not quite sure what color it is, probably pink, maybe purple. I never remember. And then This is my knockout rose. This is a sunny knockout. I would not suggest purchasing this rose. The knockout roses tend to draw Japanese beetles in. Right now I don't have any beetles in my roses yet, and it's still a little early here. We're not at Father's Day just yet. This plant here, I remember it's the same as the other one. This is a globe flower, and it'll be really bright yellow. And then I've got some traditional or non-traditional. And this is a milkweed plant. It's a different variety with a beautiful orange flower on it. And this beautiful climbing rose next to it is called Pinata. And it is the most unique rose I think I've seen. This is the same exact plant, and the color of the blooms will be different. It may start out one color, like this bright orange, and then it ends up being more of this peachy rose color. And it's absolutely striking and beautiful. Also highly fragrant, and I usually will take some blossoms in the house and create a mini bouquet during the year. Behind the Pinata rose, there is some columbine that's just finishing up, and this is very tall. I bet with the flowers, this is almost 3 feet tall, and I left it here because I want the seeds to dry, and I am going to harvest them and use them for seed for other things. One thing I like about the columbine flowers, I just like the foliage because it's so unique. It reminds me of clover. That's just really nice. And then this is, like I said, columbine. This one is called Westerland. And it's coming from the ground. I thought it died over the winter. We had a really rough winter, but everything was covered with lots of snow, so I was hoping everything survived. I don't cover them, and the rabbits unfortunately chewed most of the stuff. Anything above the snow line, the rabbits really chewed on me, and I don't know if I could put additional wire to protect them so that my canes on my climbing roses will continue to produce, and I can start training them up the garden fence, which you can see right here. And if you peek through the fence, you can see my strawberries, which are just really abundant right now, and my garden statue Sophie watching over everything. Continuing down, the last one is a hybrid tea rose. This is, I think, the only hybrid tea. Maybe there was another one, but this is my only, I think this is my only hybrid tea. This one is called, and it's not blooming just yet, this one is called Sweet Mademoiselle, and it is one of the most fragrant roses. It's just wonderful, and it doesn't have as many thorns as a lot of them do. Some of them can be quite thorny and most difficult to handle. So if you enjoyed this tour, check out my other tours in the playlist below. Also, give us a thumbs up so YouTube knows to share this content with others. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day.